Gem built one of the smartest vitamin checkouts I've ever torn down, and it's still costing them somewhere between 40 and 90 grand a month, most likely. And the same thing is probably happening to your site right now. Now, if you run a subscription brand, you've felt this. Subscriber LTV looks great, retention looks great, but new customer growth keeps getting more expensive and nobody can say why. Hey, I'm John Timmerman. I run Good Monster. We're a growth agency for consumer brands, mostly supplements and health and wellness, and a lot of companies that got big in retail or manufacturing, and now they're coming over to the e-commerce side. I spend a ton of my time in other people's funnels, and every once in a while I find a brand that I love, but I find some things that are losing or costing them a lot of money. We call this ghost revenue. It's revenue that's sitting right there in your funnel, but it's escaping, and you can't really figure out why. So here I am on Gem's website, and they get a ton right. I love the hero section. Like if you're clicking over from an ad and you land here, you can see people enjoying it. You can see the ingredients. You can see the packaging. You get all you really need to know right in this snapshot. You see that they've sold 30 million bites already. There's a lot of social proof here, okay? And it looks a little bit different than a lot of other e-commerce brands and sites out there, which I really like. Now here's where we get into the funnel, okay? Let's click Get My Gem. When I click Get My Gem, you can see that they funnel you into purchasing a bundle, which is amazing. This is what almost all brands in the supplement wellness, any sort of subscription brand really needs to do. You need to push them towards a bundle. Now, there's a nuance here, and I'm gonna get into this in a moment, but so many brands push to the subscription, which in today's world is actually has an adverse effect on conversion and actual customer acquisition. And I'll explain why. But let's focus on what they do great. They do these bundles, right? 12-week supply or a 4-week supply. And you can see down here that they have the cart. So when I click add, all right, it adds to my cart and I can go right to my cart. Now the one little ding or knock that I have is that this is really like subtle, kind of hard to see. So if I shrink this down, I'm on mobile. Okay, this cart down here is not really noticeable. In fact, when I first went to the site and I was clicking through, I didn't even see it down here. So that's one little improvement that they could make to improve conversion, but let's skip past that part. Now I got my 12 weeks here and it says you got free shipping. Okay, great. That gets me to the next phase. I got my product, brand gets a bundleized AOV. I click on next, and then I go to delivery schedule. Okay, great. Subscribe and save. It's $99.22. All right. Wait a minute. I'm not sure I want to subscribe. I've never had this product before. I don't want to try it. So now I go down here, try once at $117. Now giving them a discount for subscription, totally fine. Suggested. Good for conversion and subscription adoption if somebody wants to dive into a subscription. But for those that don't, this is where brands make a lot of mistakes. And this is where I'm going to knock Gem a little bit. And this is not, don't take offense to this, Gem. This is what most brands do. And this is what we used to do as well for our brands, is to penalize them for not becoming a subscriber. But in 2026, we see a lot of first-time buyers trying new supplements, trying new things, trying new brands. The ad works, the influencer works, the creator, the UGC, whatever it is works, and they come in and they want to try it. But now you're telling them, nope, you actually don't get free shipping because you're not going to subscribe. So penalizing the first-time buyer is where you're going to lose this. Now, at least they put the shipping cost here. A lot of brands, they'll go next, they'll go to the checkout, and then bam, there's the shipping cost right there if you didn't qualify for the free shipping tier. That causes a lot of checkout abandonment right there. But at least they put the shipping right here so you know. Okay, so now I'm like, well, maybe I'll just sign up for the subscription. My suggestion is you don't penalize that first-time buyer because you want them to try the product, and then you want to have a strong retention program. So if I go over here, I can see some of the emails here, right? Some of them are sales, some of them are information. Not a lot of social proof in here for the emails, but they do have a retention program. So this is where you want to win people back. Okay, so here's the math. Supplement sites convert at around 2.5 or 3% conversion rate. In a penalized one-time path like this, with the $5.95 shipping, that could cost you 30 to 50 points on that, right? Percentage of people that are seeing that and say, you know what, I don't want to sign up for a subscription and I don't want to pay shipping right now. Like, I don't like that this brand is doing this to me. That's actually how people feel. Now, I'm estimating here that the AOV observed here is across the site rather is probably $48 to $78 if they don't push the bundle. Now, if they push the bundle here, you can see that they're probably, well, if you look back here, their AOV is probably between $48 and $78 on average because they have the 4-week supply and the 12-week supply, right? So if I had the 4-week supply, that's going to bring my cart to $39 if I do the subscription, and then $47 plus the $5.95 shipping. Okay, so we're looking at an AOV that's probably between $40 and $90 a month on first orders. Now, I'm estimating here. I love the real numbers. Again, Jem is not a client of ours, but we are in this all day, every day, and so I can kind of get a loose, medium confidence, number there. So what's the point here? So I loaded the numbers into our Ghost Revenue Calculator. By the way, if you want to see the revenue you're losing out of your acquisition, your conversion, your retention segments of your funnel, you can go to heygoodmonster.com/ghost. You can plug in your own numbers to see how much revenue you're leaking. So what I did is I plugged in the numbers that I could find publicly or that we could estimate within reason based on website numbers, pricing, things like that, or benchmarks in the industry. And we found that Jem is likely losing somewhere around $855,000 per month in recoverable revenue. Now, that's up to probably $1.3 million they're losing every month, but most brands recover 55 to 65% of their recoverable revenue in year one. So we knock it down here to what is probably achievable in a 12-month standpoint. Now, after I loaded in the numbers, things like customer acquisition costs, blended ROAS, 60-day LTV, AOV, revenue range from public data that we found. And we found that they're losing somewhere around 44% of their revenue out of the acquisition phase, which if we use these estimated numbers, that's about $600,000 a month. Losing about 38% of the revenue out of the conversion phase, which is about little over $500,000 a month. And the retention program is pretty good, probably only about 5% of the gap, which is about $70,000 per month. You can see the breakdowns here. Now, if you want to click in how we calculated this, you go here, but definitely on the acquisition phase, which in today's world too, with Andromeda and Meta, the acquisition and the conversion really play hand in hand, right? If you don't have a really good creative that is hitting the right audience and Meta is trying to spend your money, it's just trying to drive traffic to your website, but it's not the right traffic, your conversion is not going to be very healthy. Now, if you have a really strong ad program with good ad creative and high volume and high turnover for diversity and limiting ad fatigue, then your conversion will be stronger because it's bringing the right type of people, okay? And that mixed with then some of the conversion rate optimization strategies that I just mentioned, you can really get these two numbers up big time. Again, if you want to try our Ghost Revenue Calculator, just go to heygoodmonster.com/ghost. You can plug in your numbers and see how much revenue you're losing out of your acquisition, conversion, and retention phase. Now, the calculator is just a broad attributed number that you could be losing. If you want the real detailed, you can sign up for our Ghost Revenue Audit just by going to thegoodmonster.com, contacting our team. The audit is $3,500. It is fully refundable if we can't find at least $50,000 a month leaking out of your funnel. And if you end up working with us long-term, that fee rolls right into any engagement that you have with us, whether it's a sprint or a retainer or long-term, whatever it might be, okay? So go to thegoodmonster.com and contact our team if you're interested in that. Now, it's important to remember, great brands don't have no leaks. They just have leaks they haven't identified yet, and that's exactly what we do here. Now, if you wanna watch more content like this, make sure you subscribe, and we'll be reviewing supplement brands, wellness brands, retail to e-com brands every week, and hopefully you pick up some tips that you can apply to your brand to collect some of that ghost revenue that's sitting right in your funnel. You just can't see it.